Right now, a massive wall of freezing Atlantic air is barreling straight toward the United Kingdom. And if you live anywhere from Plymouth to the Scottish Highlands, what happens in the next 24 hours could completely change your Sunday plans. 12 degrees in London, below freezing in Glasgow, snow warnings across the Highlands, and one city in particular is about to experience its coldest day of the entire month. Can you guess which one? Stay with me because in the next 60 seconds, I will reveal exactly which regions are in the danger zone and, more importantly, at what time the worst conditions will hit your area. Here is your first reward for watching. If you live in the southeast of England, you are actually in luck today. London is sitting at a surprisingly warm 12 degrees Celsius this Sunday, the 8th of February 2026. That is nearly 5 degrees above the historical average. 5 degrees. That is not a small difference. That is the difference between needing a heavy winter coat and getting away with a light jacket. But here is the twist. Do not let that mild temperature fool you, because London is still expecting 12 days of rainfall this February, and today is very likely one of them. Light drizzle will creep in during the afternoon, the kind that feels like nothing until you suddenly realize your coat is soaked through. Cloud cover will dominate the sky all day, and if the sun breaks through at all, you will get maybe 2 hours of weak daylight. That is it, 2 hours out of the entire day. Now, Brighton, if you are on the south coast, your temperatures drop to around 7 to 8 degrees during the day, falling to 4 or 5 at night. But here is what most people do not realize about Brighton in February. The average monthly rainfall there hits 89 millimeters. That is more than double what London gets. Double. And with that coastal wind cutting across the seafront, the air will feel several degrees colder than your thermometer shows. Southampton faces a similar story, 4 to 9 degrees, heavy cloud, and that sea breeze off the Solent will bite right through you. If you are anywhere along the southern coast today, add an extra layer before you step outside. Trust me on that one. But wait, I promised you I would reveal the city facing its coldest day of the month, and I am getting to that. First, let me take you to the southwest, because something interesting is happening there. Bristol will sit at around 9 degrees today, dropping to 4 overnight. Not dramatic, not alarming. A fairly standard February day. Bath, just down the road, will be almost identical at 8 degrees. Perfect weather for a winter stroll past those Roman ruins if you wrap up properly. But Plymouth is a completely different beast. Sitting right at the tip of the southwestern coast, Plymouth takes the full force of whatever the Atlantic throws at it. And today, the Atlantic is in a confrontational mood. Temperatures range from 5 to 9 degrees, but the relentless wind off the sea will make it feel like you are standing in a freezer. Rain could arrive at any hour, and across the coastlines of Cornwall and Devon, wind gusts will exceed 30 kilometers per hour during the afternoon. If you are in the southwest and you leave the house without a waterproof today, you will regret it before lunchtime. Now, here is the section you absolutely must not miss. Because at the 3-minute mark, I promised I would tell you exactly when conditions peak across the country, and I am about to deliver on that promise region by region. The Midlands, Birmingham, the second city. And today, Birmingham is bracing for one of its coldest days this week. The high will reach just 7 degrees. The overnight low will drop to 1 degree, 1 single degree above freezing. And here is the number that should make you sit up. Birmingham averages 3 to 4 days of snowfall every February. Snow. In a major English city. With overnight temperatures hovering right at the freezing point, frost will form on road surfaces and exposed ground during the early hours of Sunday morning. If you are driving in the Birmingham area before 8 in the morning, please exercise extreme caution. Ice on the roads is not a possibility, it is a near certainty. Oxford will fare slightly better at 9 degrees during the day, dropping to 3 at night. But Cambridge, over in the east, has its own problem. Morning fog, thick, dense February fog that blankets East Anglia and cuts visibility to almost nothing. If you are making an early start or driving any distance through that part of the country, slow down and give yourself extra time. The fog will not lift until mid-morning at the earliest. Now here is where things get serious, and I need you to pay close attention if you are anywhere north of Birmingham. Manchester. The 8th of February is historically one of the coldest days of the entire month in Manchester. The historical average minimum temperature on this exact date is just 0.8 degrees, less than 1 degree above freezing. Today, the high will struggle to reach 7 degrees and the overnight low will sink to 2 degrees. Manchester averages only 3.4 hours of sunshine per day in February. 3.5 hours. That is barely enough to notice the sky has changed color. And here is the twist you were not expecting. Cold rain mixed with sleet is a distinct possibility during the evening. If you are planning a Sunday night out in Manchester, bring your warmest coat and prepare for conditions to deteriorate after dark. Liverpool faces a similar battle. 3 to 8 degrees, but Liverpool's position on the western coast means the Atlantic wind hits the city with full force. The wind chill will make it feel significantly colder than the numbers suggest. February in Liverpool averages a remarkable 15 days of rain, 15 out of 28 days. That is more than half the month spent getting wet. The sea temperature off the coast sits at just 7.4 degrees, and the moisture carried on shore by that wind creates that heavy, grey, oppressive atmosphere the Northwest knows so well. Drop a comment right now telling me where you are watching from, and I will make sure to cover your area in more detail in the next update. Your location helps me focus on the regions that matter most to you. Moving to the northeast, Leeds, York, Newcastle. These are some of the coldest cities in England today. Leeds will hit 8 degrees during the day, 4 overnight. York, that ancient walled city, sits at 9 degrees but drops to 3 at night. The Vale of York is completely exposed to North Sea winds that sweep across the flat terrain with nothing to stop them. If you are in York this Sunday morning, expect to pull back the curtains and find a thin white layer of frost coating the rooftops and pavements. But Newcastle is the one to watch. Daytime temperatures of 8 degrees sound manageable on paper, but the winds coming in off the North Sea will push the feels-like temperature dramatically lower. On days like today, the wind chill in Newcastle can rival some Scandinavian cities. I am not exaggerating. The cold Arctic air tracking southward across the North Sea hits Newcastle before it hits anywhere else in England. Light rain and strong winds all day for the Geordie folk. Now, Scotland. And this is the part of the forecast I have been building toward because Scotland today is in an altogether different league from the rest of the country. Edinburgh. Climate records show that the 7th of February is actually the coldest day on average across the entire month in the Scottish capital. The 8th is only fractionally warmer, highs of just 5 to 6 degrees, overnight lows between 1 and 2 degrees. And here is the number that tells the real story. Humidity levels in Edinburgh during early February run between 86 and 88%. That is not just cold. That is a raw, damp, bone-penetrating cold that seeps into you and does not leave. Edinburgh averages between 19 and 20 days of measurable rainfall in February, 20 days out of 28. Rain falls on the vast majority of days, and the first 10 days of February are the wettest stretch, with an average of 4.1 millimeters falling every single day. Snow is very much on the table. 2 to 3 days of snowfall this month, and with overnight temperatures flirting with freezing tonight, rain could easily turn to sleet or wet snow during the early hours. Glasgow. And here is where the forecast takes its most dramatic turn. February is the month with the heaviest snowfall in Glasgow across the entire year. Glasgow averages 3.9 days of snow in February alone, accumulating up to 49 millimeters. That is roughly double what Edinburgh gets. Double. Daytime temperatures will struggle to 5 or 6 degrees, and overnight readings could dip below freezing. Glasgow's position on the west coast puts it right in the crossfire between Atlantic weather systems and cold northern air masses, which makes the weather wildly unpredictable. You might enjoy weak sunshine in the morning and find yourself trudging through sleet by lunchtime. Wind speeds in Glasgow are higher than in most other British cities, and the real field temperature can easily drop several degrees below zero when a strong gust catches you. The Scottish Highlands. I almost hesitate to describe what is happening up there. Temperatures at altitude can plunge to -5 or even -10 degrees Celsius. Winds on the summits can reach gale force. Heavy snow cover across the peaks is entirely normal for this time of year. If anyone watching this has plans to hill walk or explore the Highlands today, check local forecasts carefully, carry proper winter kit, and tell someone your route before you set out. The mountains are stunningly beautiful in February, but they demand absolute respect. Wales. Cardiff will mirror Bristol at around 9 degrees during the day, 3 to 4 overnight. February is technically the snowiest month in Cardiff, although in practice very little actually settles at sea level. Expect scattered light showers and a predominantly grey sky. But North Wales around Snowdonia is a completely different picture. Temperatures can stay below freezing even during the day at higher elevations. A mixture of rain and snow is commonplace, and the winds across the ridges are fierce. If you are in North Wales today, prepare for full winter conditions. Northern Ireland. Belfast. Cold and damp, which is entirely typical for February. Temperatures between 2 and 8 degrees. But here is the remarkable thing about Belfast weather. Within a single day, you can experience weak sunshine, drizzle, strong winds, and even flurries of snow drifting on the breeze. All in one day. Belfast averages 16 days of rain in February, 16 out of 28. That means well over half the month sees precipitation. Winds in Belfast are stronger than in most cities on the British mainland, and sudden gusts can bring rain or hail at virtually any moment. Keep a waterproof within arm's reach at all times. Do not skip past this next section. This is the part of the forecast that could genuinely save you time, keep you safe, and help you plan your entire day properly. I am about to give you the exact timing breakdown for every major region. This is the information the standard forecasts never give you in this much detail. So here is your complete timing guide for today. The worst conditions across southern England will arrive during the afternoon, roughly between 1 and 4 in the afternoon, when drizzle is most likely. In the Midlands, the danger window is the early morning before 8, when frost and ice coat the roads. In the northwest, conditions deteriorate through the evening, with sleet possible after dark in Manchester and Liverpool. In the northeast, the biting North Sea wind will be at its strongest between midday and 3 in the afternoon. In Scotland, the coldest period runs from late evening through the early hours of Monday morning, with the highest risk of snow falling between midnight and 5 in the morning. In Wales and Northern Ireland, expect the heaviest showers during the mid-afternoon. The best window across the entire country for outdoor activity is between 11 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, when temperatures hit their daily peak, and you have the best chance, however slim, of seeing the sun. Dress in layers, thermal base layer against the skin, woolen jumper or fleece in the middle, windproof waterproof jacket on the outside. Carry an umbrella even if the sky looks clear. February weather in Britain changes with remarkable speed and precious little warning. For drivers, check your tyres and lights before setting off, and allow extra time for all journeys, especially across the north and Scotland, where ice is a real hazard. For the elderly and anyone with respiratory conditions, stay warm, drink plenty of hot fluids, and avoid prolonged exposure to the cold, damp air. Now, here is what I need you to do. Drop a comment below with the name of your city or town. I read every single comment, and in the next video, I will give detailed hour-by-hour breakdowns for the locations you request most. The more specific you are, the more useful I can make the next forecast for you. And speaking of the next video, a significant weather system is developing over the Atlantic right now that could bring major changes to conditions across the entire United Kingdom by midweek. The early data suggests wind speeds that we have not seen since late January, and there is a possibility of widespread disruption to travel across the western half of the country. I am tracking it closely, and what the early models are showing is genuinely surprising. Some of the projected rainfall totals for Wednesday and Thursday are alarming. Make sure you do not miss that update. I will have the full breakdown ready for you very soon. Stay warm out there today, wherever you are across this country. And remember, spring is coming. The days are getting longer week by week. The light is getting stronger with every passing day. February, for all its cold and grey and relentless drizzle, carries within it the unmistakable promise of brighter things ahead. We are nearly through